Hi everybody, this is Kefren, your favorite French Canadian. Today I'm going to show you how to boost your FPS in the new Call of Duty Warzone. So first of all, you want to make sure that you're setting up your windows properly. So right here, game mode. You want to remove the game mode completely from your windows. Also the game bar, make sure is at off. And one last thing, make sure that background recording, recorded audio, everything is at off. The second thing that it's really important, it's your driver. Make sure that if you have AMD or whatever Nvidia, that you have the latest driver to make sure that you run the game properly. Another thing that I can say right now, please install this on an SSD drive or M2. It will help you a lot for the loading and stuff like that, because this game is it's a huge game honestly, and it needs a lot of loading. So make sure that you're using a proper hard drive for that. And please also remove all those overlay. So if you have like the Discord overlay, Nvidia overlay, remove everything that you're using for this. You're losing FPS. I did a test with the Discord one. I was losing 3 to 4 FPS. So like, make sure that you're removing all those overlay from your game. Now let's go inside of the game. So first thing that you need to use is the display mode. Make sure that you're using full screen. I did a comparison for the full screen borderless or the extend window and even the window one. You will lose 2 to 3% in your FPS, so make sure that you're using full screen. Display monitor, make sure that it matches with your monitor. Display adapter, really important if you have a laptop. Sometimes people are not using their GPU for whatever reason. They're using the integrated GPU. So make sure, for an example, if you have a GTX 1060 and you have like an Intel processor, that you don't see Intel processor over there, like whatever iGraphics something. So make sure that you have the GeForce one. Screen refresh rate, also make sure that it's matching your monitor. So if you have a 144 Hz monitor, it should be 144 over there. Render resolution, make sure that you're playing at 100, so you don't want to downscale or upscale. If you're upscaling, you will lose a lot of FPS, and if you're downscaling, you will lose a lot of like the image quality. The game will go blurry, so don't do that. Just like lower your resolution if you need more FPS, but don't touch the render resolution. Aspect ratio really depends on whatever screen that you're using. Really important here, VSync, disable this. You don't want any input lag, and also make sure that your frame rate limit is at unlimited. Really important over there, Nvidia Highlight, disable this. And now the graphic parameters. So first of all, for texture, it really depends on your VRAM on your video card. So if you have something like 4 gig and more, go with high and high. If you have 3 gig, go with normal. If you have 2 gig, go with low. And if you have less than 2 gig, go with very low, low. Really important. You don't want to have stutter when you're playing the game. Particle quality, go with low. You will not gain more FPS, but you will get a stable FPS. So for example, when you see an explosion, you're fighting and stuff, if you see your FPS dropping, it's probably because of this, so go with low with this one. Bullet impact, you will lose a couple of FPS, not a big deal, but honestly for a battle royale, it's really important to see where you're shooting. So that's why I'm keeping it at enable. Tessellation, I'm using near. I did a couple of tests, honestly. If you go with all, you will lose 3%. Over there, you lose 1%, and disable, you will be at 0 if you compare. So near, I feel it's a good compromise in this game. Now the important part, the shadows. Shadow map resolution, cache spot shadows, cache sun shadows. Everything should be at low and disable. Really important over there, you will gain like a 12% boost. So really important to remove that. Particle lighting, same thing. Put this one at low. If I do a comparison ultra versus low, I'm getting like 6% in my FPS, so really important. You don't want to use ray tracing, you will lose a lot of FPS, so disable this one. And the ambient occlusion and the screen space reflection, please put those one at disable. You will gain another 8% in your FPS. Anti-Aliasing, this one is a bit tricky. A lot of people like the anti-aliasing and the using 1x and T2x. I prefer off. Yes, you will gain more FPS, but honestly, the game is less blurry. So I feel like you're seeing much better when you're using the anti-aliasing at off. So for a battle royale, it's really important to see. So that's why I'm putting this one at off. Depth of field, for sure, you want to disable it. You don't want like some blurriness when you're focusing, so when you're aiming. So really important to disable. If you're not using the full, like they're saying, like the SMA T2X or the Filmic one, please put this one at 1 because you will have some weird like grain when on your weapon when you're aiming and stuff. So use 1 for this one. Motion blur, you always want to remove motion blur when you play a first-person game. You don't want this effect, it's pretty crappy. And finally, film grain, I'm putting this one at 0. Some people are putting some film grain, sorry. You will not lose FPS, and some people are saying that they're seeing like a little bit better people with they put some film grain. I have some when I'm playing Escape from Tarkov, but I don't feel I need it for Modern Warfare, so that's why it's at 0. So that's about it, guys. I hope you have a great time on Call of Duty Warzone. If you have any questions, just comment in the YouTube section. Post me your rig, CPU, GPU, and RAM. I will try to help you the best that I can. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace!